If you're joining us with Senator Okongo Omogeni, the Senior Counsel, also the Senator of Nyamira, Beatrice Elachi, Member of Parliament, Dagoretti North, and we're joined also by Senator Joe Nyutu, the Senator of Muranga. So let me just go straight to you, Joe Nyutu, and ask you about this particular pact that is meant to be making a definitive difference maybe in the political landscape, where we have DCP seeking a coalition with the Jubilee Party. How will this change the dynamics of the Mount Kenya region? And is this a quest to make sure that the Matiang'i factor is not bringing, you know, sort of a split in the Mount Kenya votes? Is that the rhyme and reason for this particular reach out?
Thank you, Dibal, but just allow me maybe a minute or so to mention something to do with devolution, because as you know, I'm in the Senate, and yes. Just like my colleague and senior Senator Omogeni has said, we have that concern that disbursement to counties are being delayed, in spite of the fact that we have a well laid down disbursement schedule that the national government does not want to follow. And this is not just about devolution. You know, we have problems in schools because capitation is not being disbursed to schools in the right amounts and in the right schedule, because it should be 50% in first term for capitation, 30% in that term, in second term, and 20% in that term. That is not happening. And that is something that is very important. It's a matter of national concern. Because now if you want to ground counties, and if you have grounded schools, almost grounding schools, and now you want to ground counties, then of course service delivery then becomes challenged, and then I don't know why then we should say that we have government. And I like what Okongo Omogeni said, that President Ruto and UDA, their philosophy is against, I mean, it's a strong center and, you know, weak, if you call them branches or what have you. And that is why you can see that, you know, before the late Prime Minister, you know, passed on, he had been very categorical. I mean, I remember him asking, why do you still need to have carer under the national government? Why don't you, you know, there were those funds, I think road maintenance, something that there was a big war about. And, you know, the late Prime Minister was like, this is money that should go to counties. Even things like markets, this is something that is devolved. But then the national government wants, President Ruto wants to continue building markets instead of giving them, I mean, allocating these funds to counties so that counties can carry out this function, because it's a function of counties. And this is something that we must speak about very loudly, because again, and another thing is, and which shows that the President Ruto does not support devolution. Senator Omogeni will tell you that every time in the Senate, when we make every budget cycle, we make a recommendation on the way we think the division of revenue should be done. But then, because we do not participate directly in budget making as Senate, when our proposals by the Finance Committee in the Senate go to the National Assembly, it is always adjusted downwards. And I can tell you, even if President Ruto really wanted devolution to work, I know he has the power. He has control of both houses of Parliament, and he can intervene and see to it that the recommendations by the Finance Committee of the Senate on division of revenue is done. But then he is not willing to do that because he wants a strong center. Now, coming to your question on a coalition between Jubilee and DCP, that would be a very good thing. Because, you know, Jubilee is Uhuru Kenyatta's party. I mean, and that's a fact. Uhuru Kenyatta comes from Mount Kenya. Although Matiang'i is the deputy party leader of this particular party, DCP is Rigathi Gachagua's party. These are parties with party leaders from the same region. And if our philosophies, if our manifestos, if our thinking is that President Ruto has messed the country and therefore should vacate office in 2027 by way of being voted out, then we cannot have two parties that believe in the same thing and that have the party leaders coming from the same region, then pulling to different sides. So I think that would be very good to see to it that we do not have, a segment of Mount Kenya, leaning towards Jubilee, others leaning towards DCP. I mean, it's about unity. We want the united opposition to come together. But so that, before maybe you ask the next question, so that once these two parties with leadership from the same region unite, then they can go and unite with other parties in the united opposition, so that together they can come up with one presidential candidate to face William Ruto. So I think unity, whoever is uniting with who, unity is a good thing.
But I'm inclined to wonder then why the 180 U-turn? We had your party leader, tripping from his tongue some very derogatory remarks regarding, the Jubilee Party, or it's a red wheelbarrow, talking quite, condescendingly regarding this particular party. So what is the new epiphany that now we should be having a coalition?
Dibal, my two colleagues here have been longer in politics than me, at least practicing politics. I have been observing politics also even before I was elected. And Dibal, in politics, there are no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Yesterday, ODM was demonstrating against UDA. Today, UDA is with that faction of ODM. Yesterday, President Ruto was calling the late Raila Amolo Odinga Mchawi. Recently, he was the greatest of all leaders. So I think when it comes to politics, it doesn't matter what somebody said a few days or a few months or a few years ago. What matters is that now they have come together because their interests have converged. Because again, the only thing that is permanent in politics is interests.
So is it the interest or is it the numbers? Yeah, because you want collectively to get these numbers. So
of course, numbers.
Or the interest is the numbers.
Of course, any outcome in politics is about numbers. And so when you talk about numbers, you're talking about interest. So, Dibal, you cannot tell any politician or any leader of a political party, you cannot ask them, why do you want to get into a coalition with this party while yesterday you are calling this party names? Because that party could also have been calling you names, and so I think it is neither here nor there that yesterday Rigathi Gachagua said something about Jubilee, and today he's saying something different about Jubilee. Rigathi Gachagua finds himself in a very unfortunate situation. Or that whenever he does or says something that other politicians do and say every day, then everybody wants to say that, he's a tribalist, he's not a good leader, while he's doing what other politicians do every day, year in, year out. I don't even think it's an issue that yesterday he said it's a red wheelbarrow, and today he holds a different view. That is politics. It's a dynamic game.
It's a dynamic game. Yeah, I'm telling you, the devils of yesterday becomes the angels of today.
And not just with
That's where we are.
Yes.
Okay, let me just come to you. What is this entity called United Opposition? Because it is very amorphous. We cannot even have any structures. We don't know who is who within that particular United Opposition. I don't know, from your own estimation, can you describe what is a united opposition?
No, there's nothing called united opposition. There's parties. Yes, they might agree on some of the things, but you can't unite on that because each of them, the same way we are talking about interest, will walk out because of a different interest. So they need, until it comes together and then you understand properly. If it's parties of different regions especially, very difficult to think how you are united, because there will be a time that region will have a very different interest, and they will have to deal with that interest, and you'll wonder, now what are they doing? So sometimes it becomes very, you see the most interesting thing to deal with us as a country. I've always said the best we would have accepted is that we are a hybrid country. A country for many years, when we come, we do our things, you'll always just find all of us in government. And so we must accept that that is also very unique, because not very many countries have it. That's how Kenya runs, in a very hybrid way. And people find it better, even the citizens themselves. Because on all this, even if you go to the ground and ask them, now united opposition or this and this, they are wondering. The grassroots themselves will wonder, what are you talking about? So sometimes we must accept that, yes, at the high level we would want to see all these things, but just go and find what the ground is also saying. And now ask yourself, where are you in this ground? But I just wanted to say another thing before I even moved into the politics, that you see, we must ask ourselves, all of us, they are in Senate now, I was in the first Senate. Started at 200 billion, moved to 387, yes. Now you're at 400, yeah? And we cannot say you're not growing. But also, and now they've already received roughly 136 in the Equitable share that is supposed to be of 2025, 2026. And they are going slowly. You will hate the president, you will say anything about him, but he's also among, when you look at my former president and him, he has tried so much that he pushes completely the revenues to go. They will delay us, but they will go. So, counties have seen how we have run the country since that time. You can't tell me you can't be a governor who is not budgeting for salaries. You are waiting for equitable share. No. Then you need to also say, you've added your cesses, your taxes, your what? What is your revenue that you collect?
Your own source revenue.
Yeah, your own source revenue. What does it do? Do you take it to development? Do you start with that as you wait for this other one? Or when you receive all your monies at that time, when the year is ending, isn't it that, well, even if it is you as a family, do you want to tell me now the monies have arrived, and if you are able to share it properly, you'll still have money to move on at least in 1 month? Because it is very dangerous. Today it will be President William, tomorrow there will be another one. And one day we'll find counties even not breathing, if counties will not tell me to date. Yet if we had followed this constitution, Dibal, you remember in 15 years, each county needed to have started moving out from national government, isn't it? Yes. But it can't be. It can't be that your own source revenue, to date, we have never seen a county that stands and conquers and tells Kenya, yes. Even where the trillions have gone, they are still in the worst poverty that you have seen in the world.
Well, but the law can say that the counties are endowed differently.
Well,
so when it comes
does not matter. Let me ask you. You never used to get 10,000. You have now gotten 10 billion. And you want to tell me even just deciding as one governor and say, what the worst we've had in the many years of 50 years of Kenya was water. Let me just deal with water and ensure my people have water. There's nobody who ever thinks that way. You know, it's very sad. So as much as the senators will tell me this, I was a senator. It was one thing we kept on telling ourselves, will we ever see one county that will come out and say, we are here, we started here with 200 billion. We received in that 200 billion, 1 billion. We moved to 4 billion. You are not changing the goalposts unless you're telling me every governor comes in and you put in new people and all salaries and all monies go there. But if you started with the foundation that you got, even if you add whatever your advisors, because after all, these other advisors move out. So you have your new advisors who come and take the positions that these other advisors have. So what happens? Isn't it very scary? Isn't it very sad? It's something we must question. It's something we must ask. So fine, we can take the monies and everything, but we must see Turkana change. Yes. A Kenyan who is somewhere must feel proud that I was taxed, and at one point in 15 years, that county where I used to see a child under a tree changed, which we haven't seen to date. it's also very sad. So even as we speak about all this, let us ask ourselves in 2026, what is best as we move resources to devolution?
Indeed.
How will we see change? And are unifying? Because also we have just decided, even the plan, the plan is just, everyone just does. Why can't we unify? Like you go to China every day, everyone is going there benchmarking. Have you seen how they've unified their cities? That there's some similarities. But in us, there's none.
No harmonization.
No harmonization, no even agreement of any regional thing. Because some of these things, they can agree regionally. That let us, we are from Western region, let us agree this.
Okay.
But it's very sad. So let's go now to the politics. First of all, I don't understand when people say, oh, there's this ODM of this and this. ODM, whether you like it or you don't like it, it has one thing that controls it, the structure, the organs of the party. You will say your own things, but the moment the organs of the party have spoken, whether you like it or not, you follow. That is ODM. So there's no ODM of Oburu. I don't know ODM of... No, let's not bring that fight. It's not helping anyone. But people are happy because it makes news. It makes news at that level. But inside the organs of ODM, there's nothing like that. We just know we are going. The organs have said, the Central Committee said, you went to Mombasa, you endorsed this thing, and people followed through. Because that's how the ideology was built by BAMBA, the legacy.
But it seems the head of the organ is not really holding the party together. Look at what happened in Kamkunji.
Let me tell you today.
It was such a symbolic rally that was there, incoherence that was actually tripping off. It was at best a lackluster performance that actually came from that particular leader. Maybe he's walking in the heavy boots of Raila Odinga that he cannot really...
And nobody should be walking in any heavy boots because you can't be. You just have to prepare and organize yourself as a leader and move, which he is doing himself. People will say this, you'll say this, you'll say this. Let me tell you today, me coming from Western region, yeah? There was no anything called inheritance, eh? We are not inheritance. No. That's where people will go wrong. And so when you see the party leader there, and you think he's just there, let me tell you today, if Oburu, Oginga, Daktari was not on that steering, the regions will have already left. And we should thank God and thank BAMBA. There was some wisdom in BAMBA that all of us didn't have. That he decided at the time, and I think just God, the way God planned something, whether you like this broad-based or not, at least he left you inside something where you are fighting stuck together in a glue. But if BAMBA had left us outside, let me now tell everyone, even the family, regions will have already gone because they will be fighting for survival somewhere else. So let us thank God first. BAMBA knew we are very, very, very. In fact, I've come to realize most of us used to lie to him. Just the way I used to come here and tell you, we always went around BAMBA for our interest. And people used to say, Elachi says that. No, I was right. Because look at today, how people just go like this. And I'm telling you today, the ball.
But is there any future for this party?
There's a future if.
Indeed?
There's a future if. We move the way things step by, knowing very well this was a national party. Knowing very well each region have their own interest.
Okay.
Knowing very well the glue that made you stick is not there. So this is what I'll tell the family today. The way the deputy party leader, Simba, said, this is not a party for family. This is a party for every child who believed in the ideology of the late BAMBA Raila Omolo Odinga. And the day we respect that, the day you don't want to care so much about who is at the top. If there are other things we don't understand, which for me, in the Central Committee, they can sit, organize, bring a structure, bring in Winnie into the Central Committee and harmonize things. That's not something very difficult that they cannot just sit and agree to make things start moving.
All right.
But to come and think that these regions you see, Coast, Northeastern, Ma community, I don't know where, that you can move this.
But the coast is bolting.
No.
Yeah, the coast is bolting.
It will bolt.
We have also the Kisii region bolting.
That one bolted before Baba went, so it has no issue.
It has bolted.
It bolted when Baba was still alive, which is okay. But then, for me, I would say, you will bolt because you can see if it is a fight, won't you bolt? You will bolt.
Okay.
But if we agree and we say, give ourselves 1 year, see how we move and reorganize things, people will stick because they believe in their ideas.
But you don't have 1 year, the election is just around the corner.
It doesn't matter.
There's no time for you saying, let's sit 1 year to organize ourselves. We need organization.
You did not, you don't, that's why I'm saying, respect what the Central Committee has said and just work with it.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me come to Okongo Omogeni, because you're part of ODM as well. But it seems also the dynamics are shifting, the ground is shifting. We understand that you've bolted. Maybe you can confirm for us. From your own estimation, also, just having that we having DCP, joining Jubilee Party. Matiang'i is from your region. And you reading the tea leaves, there's a highly likelihood that you could be joining Jubilee Party. Am I wrong?
First, we have a serious ideological difference in ODM. There are many of us who are true disciples, true followers of Raila Amolo Odinga. From Gusii region, you could win a parliamentary seat from any party, but we chose that party because we believed in the ideologies of that party. It's a party that respected democracy. It's a party that in its manifesto wanted to see a society that is just, a society that is fair. That's why we joined the ODM. And nobody should say that they understood Baba more than the other. I can reveal here, and people like Simba Arati can be my witness, even Timothy Bosire, that we had a meeting with Baba at Serena Hotel. And we asked him, face to face, are you going to support William Ruto in 2027? And that was before the elections were held in Addis Ababa. I can hold the Bible and tell you, he told us only one leg will be in Addis. 2027, we must complete the journey that we began. We must have a party that will take on William Ruto. And he cracked a joke and said, a party cannot exist if it's not preparing to take over power. And that's what I expect from any genuine member of ODM. You cannot be telling us that we move to UDA when the other day President Ruto in Mount Kenya made very condescending remarks about some of the tribes from Western Kenya, where I come from. And he made it very clear that even if you are coming to UDA, you don't have a slot, not even number 2 deputy president. So let's be candid. The problem with ODM is that we have been infiltrated by people who are brokers. Some of them are merchants. Their end interest is financial enrichment. We know how political parties exist all over the world. You go to UK today, you will find the Conservative was defeated by Labour. They are not running to say we are forming broad-based government. Every Wednesday, watch the debates in the House of Commons. Prime Minister is there, is being put to task how he's implementing his policies, the policies that were his manifesto. And the Conservatives are telling the English, the people of England, that will be a better alternative. That's what we should be doing as the biggest opposition party. There is no crime under this constitution or in any of our statutes that says it is criminal to be in opposition. There is no president who has been celebrated like Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga never carried a Bible as a president of this republic. But you saw how Kenyans celebrated him because of the way he fought for a fair, just, democratic country called Kenya. So you cannot tell us that the only people who are progressive are people who must sing broad-based. Why can't ODM be saying there will be an alternative government? We were in Radical, we fought up to midnight because we were disagreeing with some of the taxation policies of UDA. We were disagreeing with the way Shah was rolled, and we were saying this is being unfair to our people. So what has changed?
So they added.
We talked about corruption. What has changed from the position that we took as a party? And we used to brief our party leader every evening.
All right.
So what I want to tell my good friend here is that you cannot come and just tell us that we must go and sing two-term. We are two different parties. You go even to India, the Congress party that is in office as an opposition party that wants to take over from the Congress. In America, the Republicans are in office. The Democrats are preparing how to take over power.
So I want to know.
Allow me to finish by saying this. I want to correct my friend here.
No.
You know, this idea of saying that Rigathi owns DCP, Jubilee is owned by Uhuru Kenyatta. These parties, Dibal, are public entities. These parties are financed by our taxes. These parties have structures, Dibal. You don't own a party. The party is owned by the membership. They are the biggest stakeholders, Dibal. So I think the debate we should be having
that is in the ideal settings. Yeah, that we could actually be talking
We have what we call the letter and spirit. See,
so that is in the spirit.
If we are not doing things right, Dibal, we should be able to point that out and say, as a society, we must do something corrective. That's how the Americans were. We didn't have strong parties in America, but they evolved to become strong parties. And that's what we should be agitating for.
Okay.
Look, I like the approach of Jubilee, because Jubilee is saying we are sourcing for a strong candidate who will be our presidential candidate as a party. The way the Labour Party looked for Keir Starmer and said, we think this will be the strongest candidate to take on the Conservatives. That's how parties should work. So, then finally, even if we want to go into a coalition with UDA, you know we have been in Azimio coalition. We have been with the Kalonzo Musyoka since 2013, 2017, 2022. You have read newspapers, the financial input that we received from Jubilee in the last elections. That has been in the news everywhere. Even if we lack any moral conscience, can't we go back to these parties and make a pronouncement formally and say, now we want to have a divorce, okay? And we agree, then the entire country will know now the Azimio coalition has been dissolved. You bid bye to Kalonzo, but also remember what the Gospel of St. Luke says, that even Jesus asked, of these 10 lepers, only one came back to say thank you. So the only way you want to thank Kalonzo is by telling him, now we are dumping you. You have not wronged us, but we want to dump you because we think we can get a piece of the cake from the UDA government. God will never bless you by being greedy. He will never bless you by being greedy. And in the Bible, people who put a lot of attention on financial gain ended very badly. Remember the parable of the rich man. What was in his mind was just to acquire wealth, acquire wealth. Then one evening, God told him, you are dying. You remember Judas? 30 pieces of silver. He betrayed Jesus. When he realized what he had done, he committed suicide. So let's not have people who just tell you that we are in government because there is money in government. There is no. We need to leave a legacy for our children. And we need to run parties taking into account what is in this constitution. Kenya, in Article 4, is a multi-party democracy. A multi-party democracy.
Okay.
So I want anybody watching this show, including my good friend, Oburu Oginga, the first article you should respect is Article 4, which says Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Mm-hmm. The soul of Jaramogi will turn in the grave if we as ODM are the ones who will be pushing for killing of multipartism in this country.
Right, I'll come to you again regarding if you're warming up to Jubilee. You haven't answered my question, but I'm interested. I'll come to you. No. I think Senator Newton has been fairly silent. Let's just come to him. And I was just laughing because he's mentioning Judas. Yeah, he betrayed Jesus, and the people were saying, Judas might have come from Mount Kenya region, because he was called Judas Iscariot. Yeah?
So it's Judas Iscariot.
Iscariot. Yeah? So it's Iscariot. Anyway, I wanted to ask you regarding, of course, the party leader and the recent also defection that we've had from DCP. Mm. And the rhyme and reason behind it is the fact that your party leader is, no, you're not in DCP already. You're still with DG, isn't it? Right? Is the party leader of DCP is overbearing. The vitriol, verbalizing that has been coming from him is not really auguring well with so many people, right? So they're saying they do not hold with the views of Rigathi Gachagua. Even these rallies that we see, most of the financing actually is being demanded from the members of the DCP. So what is this indicative of that is happening within DCP, especially at this critical moment when we're saying, we're building up DCP and we are trying to welcome everyone from the Mount Kenya region to join the party?
Thank you, Dibal, but allow me, and I'll be very quick to mention one or two things that have been said here by my colleagues here. One, Honorable Elachi says that there is no united opposition and only time. Maybe we will see what happens. If that is true, then there is also no broad-based arrangement. I mean, it has to be that way. Because there are people in ODM who say they do not recognize that broad-based arrangement. So it's good to be fair. If you say there is no united opposition, please also agree there is nothing like a broad-based.
But at least we know there's an article of understanding, there's a memorandum of understanding with the UDA and broad-based government. What article do we have from the united opposition?
I mean, sometimes
that is actually on paper. Everyone has appended their
papers, Dibal, are just that. They are papers. Like I'm UDA on paper. But do I resubscribe currently to the philosophy and to UDA? The fact is I don't. And so there is a very big difference between what is there on paper and what is there in the hearts of people. So I actually don't put much value onto something that has been, that is on paper, unless it's a title deed, maybe because of where I come from. And even the title deeds have been disowned by government frequently.
So you're technically in UDA?
Yes, technically, yes.
You technically?
I'm in UDA, yes.
But you see associating with DCP?
No, I'm vying on, God willing, I'll be seeking a DCP ticket to defend my seat. Mm-hmm. Yes. But when the right time comes.
But what is happening with the disciplinary action of these parties like UDA? You should be castigated for doing this. I mean, this is...
No, but I've not left UDA.
You've not left, yes.
I'm not promoting the interests of any other party. And not only that, who is the party leader of UDA?
But how does a party leader listen to you and you actually talking in disparagement of the party?
No, yeah,
saying, I do not believe in the ideology of UDA, but still you're holding that ticket of UDA.
But you see,
isn't that also just a ticket for you to be shown the door?
Dibal, there's something that we call moral authority. I mean, who is the party leader of UDA? President William Ruto. President William Ruto was the deputy president to Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. In Jubilee. They differed in 2018. Did he leave Jubilee? Did he resign from his office as deputy president? The answer is no. So he would not have any moral authority. He may have legal authority.
But moral authority.
But not moral authority.
It doesn't come into play here. By then he had not launched UDA.
But the Bal.
He was not dealing with ODM.
I mean...
You're speaking from the podium. You're speaking solely, from his own views.
I mean, for all intents and purposes, he was fighting Jubilee and the leadership of Jubilee. So, but just allow me to deal with this matter so that my colleagues may also have some time, although you are the one allocating time. The other thing I wanted to remind Honorable Elachi, she talked about the started at 200 billion in the first Senate. It's the second Senate, actually. Then I think what we should be talking about are percentages, because it was 200 billion. But what was the national budget? Of course, it was not 4 trillion. And so I think we shouldn't talk about progressive figures. We should be talking about the percentages in order for us to have a comparative analysis of what has been sent to counties. I mean, not as absolute figures, but percentages of the national budget, because that is what then would be a good analysis. But I agree totally with Honorable Elachi that governors must show what they have done and what they continue to do with the huge allocations that have been taken to counties. Senator Omogeni will tell you that we went for Senate Mashinani in 2023 in Lodwar. In Lodwar, there is a big river that is not seasonal, just across the town. And 10 years, that was actually 10 years after devolution, Lodwar still didn't have any pipe to water, in spite of a river, crossing just next to the town. And I mean, that is something that we should be able to debate about. And this is the same kind of debate that Rigathi Gachagua elicited the other day, that allocations have been made to counties. Allocations, CDF allocations have been made to different parts of this country. And so people must show what they have done. Have they put up schools? Because this debate was rubbished, but it was supposed to be a big debate, a national debate, so that we ask ourselves, if I come from, for example, from Madhya constituency in Murang'a County, what has the CDF allocations over time, how have they been utilized? Which schools have been put up, have been supported by CDF? So that if there is a child that is coming from a Madhya constituency, and I'm just using it as an example, joining a school in say, Bondo constituency that has been made a C1 school, then the child from Bondo should also have an opportunity to be able to join a school from Madhya that has been developed. Because we cannot have a situation, for example, where a particular place, a particular region, it could be a county, it could be a region, is seeding its best schools that have been put up by efforts from the community, the leaders and that kind of thing. They seed them to become C1 schools, open to all children nationally, while some regions are not seeding any schools because they have not developed any schools. That's the debate that needs to be discussed. It's not about actually tribalism,
which is a fair debate.
Yes, yeah. It's a debate that we need to have.
Yes.
That fine, Murang'a is giving out to schools to be C1 schools to open them to the whole country. I mean, what are other counties also giving out their schools so that we can have equity? But so that child from Murang'a can be able also to join a school in Turkana that has been put up and financed and supported by the allocations that have been made there consistently. And so I agree totally with the Honorable Elachi. We must account for funds that have been allocated to us. The organs of the party, I differ with her completely. The organs of the party are there on paper, but the enforcement is a party leader. And I can tell you, Dibal, in this country, a party is as good as its party leader. And and it is historical. It's not just about ODM. I mean, when Kenneth Matiba, got sick, Ford Asili died. I mean, when Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, died in 1994, Ford Kenya fine still exists, but basically around Bungoma today, and it was a national fine.
It's just a shell of itself.
Yes, this is something that, but I want to remind Senator Omogeni, I did not say that Uhuru Kenyatta and Rigathi Gachagua own those parties. I referred to them as the party leaders, not owners. Nobody owns a party. They are only party leaders. Parties are owned by members. And that is why no person should actually, only maybe organs can tell us to maybe shape up or shape out, not an individual. Now coming to a question, and I'll be very fast on it. You see, I have seen you people in the media say that there's mass exodus from DCP. I mean, who has exited DCP? I mean, you only need to see where they are going. Those that are claiming to have, to have left DCP. I mean, if it is somebody who believed in the ideology of the opposition, I would expect them to leave DCP and probably join Jubilee, probably join Wiper, probably join DAP Kenya. I mean, but all of them are joining UDA. And all of them will tell you they are rejoining government to get development. So it's not about the party leader of DCP. It's about personal interests. It's about people who already, had bolted even before they announced it. And so no one who is, who believes in DCP has moved. And I don't want to analyze individuals, but if we had time, I would analyze all of them and tell you this one left because of this reason. This one was an NIS agent.
There are indications regarding also the nominations that are there already. It has been slated for some people, and this is not sitting.
There is nothing like that. And in all those who are moved, I mean, they are moved because competitors have joined the party, and they thought they would be given direct nominations. And there is no provision for direct nominations in DCP. And that is why people are moving. So when somebody who is competing with you joins the party, and we are opening the party to everybody, then people who thought that they would get direct nominations, the party leader has made it very clear that there will be no direct nominations. And that is why people are starting to get uncomfortable. So nobody has left because of the character or anything of the party leader. This issue of money, it is a script that they have been given by the party they are joining. And the party they are joining is UDA, or rejoining is UDA. Right. It's a script. We are there. Nobody is asked to contribute any money. And even if anybody was going to be asked to contribute any money, I still contribute to UDA every month. I mean, it's not, nobody has been asked to go and bring this amount of money. But of course, contributions to parties are made by every other party.
Thank you. Let me come to Elachi on this also. I'll delve deeper on, first of all, I think Honorable Newton has declared he's going to be running under the DCP ticket. So are you
in 2027? In
2027.
But I'm in UDA now.
You're still in UDA. Yes. So I want to hear from you as well, the rift that is in ODM, and you still hold the party so dearly. I can feel it that you still want to see the flourishing of the party moving forward. Indeed, and this should not be the breaking moment of ODM. Are you still running under ODM?
Yes.
You still run under ODM.
You see, for us, Dibal, if we were true to Baba, the best we would be asking ourselves is, how do you safeguard the seats Baba had always made people win and just have numbers in Parliament in 2027? This script of my senior telling us, oh, they want to vie. You want to vie, and yet we just had MCA's by-election in your own backyard. You are the senior most there. You could not deliver for Baba. How will you tell me that now? It means the party there has already gone. In fact, in Nyamira, it's completely gone, unless he goes back on that ground, Kulinda ground. So for me, the most important thing, again, also, let us just respect. We want to come out of broad-based, there is a process. I think Baba signed something. We read and learn and agree, all of us. And so you come out and know where you're taking the people. But for now, you can't tell me the signature of Baba. He's the one who signed. So nobody, even me or anyone, who knew that we were going in broad-based, he was the leader. He signed for it. And so when you say, the person who is in fact very steadfast is my governor of Kisii, Simbarati. He's still steadfast and would wish to see an ODM that is moving the way Baba said. But these other members of parliament who are there, I would tell you because of the ground, and they will tell you because of the ground, because of my most friend Matiangi, they are with him. And it's good to say, because if your ground has gone, what do? See, you follow that ground and become a leader with them. Because they've already proved to you they will not vote for ODM. They proved even when they took all the MCA seat. So you can't come here and tell us. The most important thing all of us should do is to enter into a room in 2026 and thrash ourselves and ask each region of Baba, how is the craft at the moment? Are we going up in this region or are we going down? What can we do? That way, I'll say we are willing to fight and leader this party. But for us to come here and speak about all this, and Baba was very smart. He used to enter in any coalition. He will know the right time to move. So, can we learn a bit from our father?
But are you learning also the right time to move?
That's what I'm...
When it comes to leadership, as it is right now, because the ground has moved, as you say, and I think the DCP party with the Masikio, or they're calling it the Masikio party.
They listen.
They're listening to
their
the
region, yes. Yeah. So I'm also listening to... That's why I was saying, don't forget...
No. What I want to ask you, are you listening also to the leadership, quest and the change or the utterances of change that are coming through the leadership, that there is the young, or they're calling for the generation
that's
exit,
okay.
Generation exit of
that's
ODM.
Okay. That's okay.
That we give the leadership to the young.
And what have I said? What have I said? Why can't you just go around, do exactly what Baba used to do, talk to the people, talk to that grassroots. Don't assume that because I come from Western Province, I must listen to what Nyanza is saying. Don't assume that. Come and listen to also what I'm saying in Western Nyanza. Within my culture, within my language, listen to us. That's what we are telling you.
I thought that's what you're doing now with the
Linda. So when you go there,
ground operation.
Exactly. So when you go, you'll hear that ground, they will tell you. There's a ground that will tell you exactly, yes, they are not in this fast, we are following this. There's a ground, you can just see, you, Kwanzaa, you are behind them. They are pushing you even before even thinking. So all those things, that's why I'm saying, good leaders, all of them, in their regions, by the way. Nobody should now detect and start giving us some musomo here. No, go to your region and make sure you leader that ground and bring it the way Baba used to bring. That's why Baba used to come in a region. He would even sleep there for 3 days, listen to that region, agree on what they are saying. Where he feels he's the leader, he will tell them, no, I have agreed. We are picking on this. Can we have a win-win? We will not do this, but we can do this and put them together. That's all we are saying. Mm-hmm. That's all Coast is saying. That's all Northeastern is saying. That's all my community is saying. So when we are here on top here, we need to cool down. Go to your region, speak in your language and listen to your people, what they are saying. And ask them whether they still believe in this. And if they still believe, how do we move? Do you still want to be here? They will tell you. And if they tell you, you move their way, then we come back now and go to one. And we say, we have moved. Here they are saying this. How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to deal with this one here? And how do we come together as one, as much as we have all this that we've had? That way, you'll have reorganized us back. But people smearing us, no, not this time.
All right.
I need to tell them this night.
So what we're seeing that will blow up will be the ODM Kwanzaa and ODM Asili as well.
Whatever will blow up, whoever blows, as long as...
Of Winnie Odinga and, Dr. Oburu.
Now that's the family. If they blow it up and finish it, they should never blame anyone. Mm-hmm. I'll tell them today that. Yes. If they can't come up with the family and just agree and say... The way I have said,
I thought you have party organs that can do...
Exactly. And what did I say when we start? I said, go back on your central committee, create a structure, create whatever, you have the power, and give us they keep winning something, to be inside there to hold in the young people and everything, and as they move. And then when they go to the NDC, whatever happens, happens. In fact, we can be calling for an NDC and find the party in a very funny direction, and you'll be surprised. Because never joke with delegates from regions. Yes.
Thank you. Let's come to Okongo Omogeni and just ask you also a very pointed question regarding your next move politically and in the light of what is happening with ODM. It seems what you're saying is, I felt a sense that you're warming up to Jubilee. You're talking about ideological differences within ODM. And you find that Dr. Fred Matiang'i is gaining currency, according to, the recent Infotrack polling, coming closely to President William Ruto, 28 and 13, doggedly followed by Rigathi Gachagua. Let me ask you from your own assessment as well. First, I ask you, are you going to vie and retain, are you vying for governorship of Nyamira, first of all? And are you vying under the Jubilee Party?
Yeah, Deval,
or ODM?
I'm not on
not just declare.
A witness doc. And,
no, you are not, but just give us the indication. It's not too early to call. I mean, we're just a few months away from
I will disappoint you. Because when I want to make a declaration, I'll come here and make a declaration. I think for now we are discussing national topical issues.
But isn't that national too?
Broadly. When, the time of migration will come. You know that people switch if they want to. 6 months to elections. That will be March next year. They tell you that in politics, even a day is a long, long time. In politics. So when that right time comes, I will tell you. Of course, after I've had consultation with my people. So all your horses, when the right time comes, I'll be on this show and I'll tell you, this is what I'm going to do. For now, as I've told you, from the bottom of my heart, I respect Article 4 of the Kenyan Constitution. And I want to see Kenya becoming a strong multi-party democracy. If we go this route of mutilating parties or picking the easy option of saying if there is a government in place, let us all scramble to get a piece of the cake, we'll be killing our multipartism. I don't know whether that moment will come. I've heard Honorable Elachi say that BAMBA knew when to move out. But I've not seen any indication that there is anybody in ODM who is strategizing to move out. In fact, when you look at it, when I look at it, I don't sit in that central committee, I'm not in those senior organs. You see that we have been reduced to junior partners. Because if you are a credible partner, or if you are to be in a coalition, you go to countries like Australia, when there is a coalition between two big political parties, like when there was one between Bruce and Page, Liberal and the Labour. It was called the Page-Bruce government, whereby you sit, negotiate properly and say, I don't think we have any formal coalition agreement with UDA. You say we are forming UDA/ODM government and you share the cake in the middle. Regions like Kisii, we are told we are being in broad-based, but we don't even have one cabinet secretary from that region, despite there being several members of parliament elected on ODM tickets. So if you want to form a coalition government, please enter as an equal partner, not as a junior partner, the way it is building up, so that the party engages in public participation with the people and they make a decision. And also give us a chance as members to debate the pros and cons of the so-called broad-based. Don't impose it. Listen to the many divergent voices within the party called ODM, Deval. And if you followed history, when strong leaders die, parties can break in the middle. You know what happened to the Congress party in India when Indira Gandhi's father died, Nehru. They thought that by picking Indira Gandhi, they were putting somebody weak to be a leader, and they said, we'll give you the Ministry of Information, but somewhere along the line, we'll remove you and put somebody else. But when the Prime Minister died, Indira Gandhi, being a young lady, said, this is my time. I can't wait any longer. She took over the mantle of the party, became Prime Minister, but in the process, the Congress party was divided down the middle. Where we are as ODM, this process of building ODM post Raila Amolo Odinga is very delicate. They are serious. Let's be very candid.
Walking on eggshells.
We have serious ideological differences, not from fools, but from people who are very credible and respected leaders within ODM, who have divergent views about joining this broad-based government, and we have very good reasons for it. Dibal. So you must also listen, because you can't tell us that we all rush to UDA because we need development. Let me ask you, I don't know the neighboring MP for Dagoretti North, whether it's from opposition or not, but do you want to tell me that a president who has gone to school and has a PhD is going to build a road from one constituency? When he reaches the other constituency, he says, this one is represented by a member of opposition, so I will not build a road here. That's not the way you develop a country, Dibal. If you are building the road from Nakuru to Nairobi, you're going to pass through Naivasha constituency, because development is for the entire country. The Constitution talks of equitable development. If you extend the road in Mariakan, it is because it is informed by the economic interests of a nation. Whether the MP for Mariakan is in opposition, you will not say, we shall not make this road because that member of parliament is in opposition. Because we want easy movement of goods from the port, we want easy access to our more international airport. That's why we are building that, extending that road. We know the traffic going to Western. This road will go through Nakuru, enter some parts of Rift Valley, and go to Western Kenya. So you want to tell me if the MPs from Western Kenya will be elected on opposition, the government of Kenya will say we are not going to build roads to that region? No, that's not the way you develop a country. Development belongs to all of us. We pay taxes as Kenyans, whether we are from the opposition or from the government of the day. So this thing of saying you can never get development unless you are in government. Raila Amolo sang about that many times, used to remind us. This thing of saying you are Baba and Mama, forgive my language, he used to tell us it's all nonsense, because we as Kenyans are all entitled to development. Finally, you know there is no party that had strong structures in this country than KANU. KANU even owned several buildings in the country. But because KANU was not able to manage itself post-Moi, it disintegrated and it's a pale shadow of itself. I don't know how many members of parliament are there from KANU. So we should never take things for granted. It's always in the best interest of all of us to build parties that respect the views of the membership. A party that has democracy. That's why Raila used to say, even when Sifuna is speaking, because we as ODM respect freedom of speech and conscience, which is in Article 27. I have a right. It is written there in black and white. I have a right, okay, to respect my own conscience. I as a Kenyan, it's there in the Constitution. I have a right to listen to my conscience, to listen to my spirit myself. Okay? That's the only way you can build strong parties.
Thank you.
And
right.
to conclude, Dibal, when we talk about structures, you know how parties pick their presidential candidates. If you go to the Democrats or the Republicans in America, the decision is always made by the membership themselves. You go to England, the Labour, the decision is always made by some organ that recognizes membership. Even in India, Congress, the decision to give the seat to Indira Gandhi was made by the syndicate. That is the highest organ of the party that brings all membership together. So if we want to really build this party called ODM, anybody who wants to build ODM as a political party must remove personal commercial interests and put the interest of the membership ahead, and 2, the interest of building a strong party that will outlive us.
All right, I'll leave you. Let's talk about DCP, even as I think also we're running low on time, and we prepare maybe our closing thoughts as well. You recently had that particular strategic meeting at the coast, and you came up with a strategic plan moving forward, the 8-point plan that maybe you'll want to tell us as well. We understand that the DCP has just been formed recently, but wanted to know, can it also deliver nationally as ODM or UDA as it is? They've done their grassroots elections. I don't know, sometimes I'm confounded. Do I ask this question to you as a DCP member?
No, it's okay.
Yes, so that you can actually tell us, do you think they can manage, within the short given time that we do have, to give DCP party that national feel, that they're in every nook and cranny of this country? Because it takes time to build a party.
Thank you, Dibal. And DCP, as you have observed, is a very new party. I mean, months old. I don't think it's yet an year old. I think it's still months old. But your question will be answered by the results of the by-elections that we had in November. DCP, new as it was, won a seat in Kakamega County, a ward called Kisa East. DCP, new as it was, won a ward in Narok County, Narok Town Ward. DCP, new as it was, won a seat in Nairobi County, that is Kariobangi North Ward. And so, Dibal, that answers your question, that this is a party that by next year, if it could win 3 seats in the 3 different, actually regions, while it was just a few months old, then you can imagine what the party will be able to do between now and the time we go for elections next year, God willing. And so I think in there lies the answer to your question. The DCP, the momentum that it has taken, the momentum that it has created, the seats that it has won from different regions, in spite of President Ruto's...
Richard, but your home turf.
Sorry?
Your home turf, it never really showed up any good winning.
But we had no candidate.
You had no candidate. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we had no candidate. I mean, DCP had no candidate. I mean, and so
did they sense that they wouldn't really take that particular?
Not exactly. You remember that the candidate that DCP supported was a DP candidate.
Yes, a DP candidate.
Because DP is Justin Muturi led. And you know, the seat that the replacement that we were looking for was, we were replacing a DP MP. No. So I think the parties agreed that it was only fair
that it should go to a DP
that because this is a DCP member that has been promoted and, created this particular vacancy, it is only fair that DP gets a replacement. And so there was an agreement between the parties and between the principals that we support a DP candidate. But even then, unless somebody will want to close their eyes, of course, the win in Bere North, the win in quotes by UDA was not a win. Basically, the whole government had been transferred to Bere. There's a time when I think every other CS with the origins in Mount Kenya, PS, they were sent there, and we saw images of even, open bribery. We saw Dennis Itumbe, even buying Sukuma Wiki for people and distribute. It was I don't know what to call it. And you know that the CS Rocco also invaded a particular polling station called GOtv polling station and kicked out, the opposition's agents. I mean, there was there were so many things, actually, and a lot of intimidation. All the people, for example, were told that if they did not vote for the government candidate, in this particular case, the UDA candidate, that their social
stipend,
stipend would be withdrawn. And that is a raw constituency. The other thing, Dibal, about that particular constituency, and this is something that we can analyze and talk about for the whole evening,
but they were told
whole night. The other thing about that...
allegations you're making, well, how are they?
No, not allegations. You can even, by the way, when you get time, look at the history of that particular constituency. It's a constituency that votes along clans. And if you look at its history, you will see the presidential vote, they have always voted with the rest of Mount Kenya. But they have voted in members of parliament from some very funny parties. And that history is there for everybody to see. So you cannot, in a fair measure, say that President Ruto is now gaining traction because Bere North went to UDA. It was a matter of clanism. It was a matter of heavy government presence, heavy government intimidation, a lot of bribery, and mostly clanism. And check. We pray that God will keep us alive. You will see how Bere North will vote in the coming general election. They could elect an MP from a very funny party, but they always deliver a common vote for the presidential candidate with the rest of Mount Kenya. And that is something that we can come here and debate. When the right time comes, we only pray that God will be gracious enough to give us life and a peaceful election that Kenya will still hold. Yeah.
So will your party leader be amenable to push the interest of the united opposition? Because he's been very categorical that he is actually going for the interest of DCP. That he has laid it down, that it's not even the united opposition at the end of the day. Will that not really also bring... Yes.
If there is any leader in this country that has been devoured by everybody, and this is William Ruto's scheme, I mean, which party leader promotes another party? We have what we are calling broad-based now. Where did you see William Ruto promoting ODM? And they're in a broad-based government. The arrangement is each and every party leader promotes their parties, grows their party, consolidates they consolidate their support base, and then at the end of it all, they come together.
Thank you.
No party leader promotes another party. I've never seen that in this country. So Rigathi Gachagua is the party leader of DCP. He can only promote DCP. Kalonzo Musyoka will promote and grow Wiper. Mother Karua will grow and promote PLP. Matiang'i will promote and grow Jubilee as a deputy party leader.
But I thought it is the providential time to come up with this mean machine that you've put up, because it seems consensually you've agreed that the ticket for the presidential seat is going to go to Wiper.
No.
No, as a presidential candidate, let me say Kalonzo Musyoka as it is right now. That is what you should be actually fronting right now. Time is
It is not decided.
It is not.
And it is not decided.
In a nuanced way.
It is not decided. And you know.
Yes.
And you know, if I was the one to make that determination, I would actually not announce or unveil the United Opposition's candidate until around March, April next year. Because you saw when it was like pointing towards Kalonzo Musyoka, you saw the kind of fight William Ruto started doing. Jamaa amekuwa kwa upinzani kwa uongozi kwa miaka 50, hajatengeneza barabara ya kwake. That is what you
But you expect that, so you know how to countermand it.
No.
So you can't be, why you?
No.
Why you not comfortable?
It's a marathon debal.
Okay.
You do not exert all your energy when you still have some 8 laps more.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, it's a marathon. Let's hear from Elachi, even as we're winding up. Elachi, I just we have the resumption of Parliament that is happening next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. The issue of Safaricom is a ticklish one right now.
Yes.
We've had people saying it's being undervalued, and why should we sell a critical infrastructure of the country at the end of the day? This will be on the floor of the House?
Yeah, it will be on the floor of the House.
What other bills that are very critical that, now you should be streamrolled and looked upon with, just briefly as we're winding up?
Well, I think the most critical one is proceeding on with the way privatizations of other things are going on. I think that will be the key.
I've seen KPC also, they've announced their IPO.
Yes, but remember when we were in the PJ with BAMBA, that was one quarrel he really quarreled us and said, we must privatize. So you see now we are in that again.
He was for privatization?
Absolutely,
Okay.
and he could not understand why we were refusing on these things. So some of those things will have to...
But Safaricom, isn't it being sold for a song?
Well, we need to ask ourselves, you see now, the problem with Safaricom, whether we say it's ours, you remember Vodacom has always been their key. But for me, if you ask me, I would tell you, yeah, I will not wish Vodacom. I would wish any other, but not Vodacom, because you know it was their main mother in the beginning of all this stuff, all this coming in of Safaricom into the country. But then we want to see what the committee has done, and maybe we will now ask critical questions about it and see how we move. But then the other thing we need to ask ourselves, I think we now need to clearly, as Parliament, just look at the key. I think we have to look at the education sector, ask ourselves, yes, we've had all these teething problems now, year 10 has come. The C1s have taken quite huge numbers of students. I'm hoping the ministry is going to assist in terms of bringing in more infrastructure for those schools because they have quite huge numbers. And then we need to ask ourselves what happens to these other small schools that have been there, and how we believed CBC will try and balance all this so that people don't get into this antagonistic of everyone facing on one direction. So they need to come back and rebalance all that. And then now we have to now share and find it on the right, and the model of the university students. And that should be key for us. And if we are kind enough to do the right thing, I think that's what we should be pushing for. And then, yeah, the politics will be there, Dipal. It's a year we'll see many things. But we must also just be genuine. I mean, 2026, there's no need of pretending. No. If things are bad, just say they are bad. If you know this direction is where things are going, yes. For me, this is what I'll tell ODM. Let us stop talking all. You have other solutions, you feel this is not the right solution, go around the table and help, assist, and say this would be the best solution. But I have said, in 6 months, nobody should question any other region. Go and sort out your region, starting from Nyanza. When you sort out and come with one voice, we come with Western with one voice, Nairobi with one voice, then we can sit on that table. But just people telling us these other stories of other things, they should not even try.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Also, let's get your closing remarks, Okongo Mogini.
Yeah.
The resumption of Senate, what is up your collective sleeves, right? Do you have the Senate, you're seeking the Senate oversight revenue?
No. I think that's a baby of the National Assembly.
But it was a sweetener for you, so that you may pass the...
It's a baby. I think top on our list is our own constitutional amendment bill. Okay. That is meant to harmonize the legislative mandate of the two houses. Because I think what happened in Naivasha in 2010 mutilated the legislative powers of the Senate. And there is no Senate all over the world that has direct mandate from the people. You know, I and Beatrice Elachi and Senator Nyutu get elected directly by the people. So we enjoy direct mandate from the people. What we are enjoying is what the Senate of the US used to enjoy before they amended the Constitution in 1918 to allow direct election of senators. So we need to put this issue on the table, debate it, and sort it once and for all. Right. We'll be doing our public participation process will begin in February, and we'll be holding a retreat in the second week of February, so that we discuss the legislative agenda on the table. Personally, I want us to retrace our steps and go back to the people, because we have abandoned the people. You have seen in NADCO, the head of public service, the one who was forced to resign, gave us a report and said the people in the public sector are undergoing serious stress. People are committing suicide. You saw what happened to a police officer in an OCS in Kericho. Today you saw a 411, a police officer committed suicide. And there are so many cases of people committing suicide, even in my own county. We cannot be singing about us forming government when we are forgetting on issues.
Is it head of public service?
No.
Yeah.
Public Service Commission. Yes, the chairman of Public Service Commission. So we cannot ignore the people who voted for us. So I think as we go to 2026, we must pay attention on matters that touch on the people. There are so many, you have heard my colleague telling you that SHA is dysfunctional. In fact, they have a report from their health committee chaired by Nyekal, where they have highlighted the failures of SHA chief. Even the ICT department in SHA is dysfunctional. I have people in Nyamira, some of them work for me, who tell you that they go to the hospital, they have their card, but when they try to log into that SHA, it does not work.
Fantastic.
So let us trace our steps and try to come up with policies that will help the common one.
Fantastic. Let me lastly give it to also Senator Nyutu to just give your closing remarks.
Dibala, I think I really don't have much to say, only to say that the discussion that we are having here is very important, but just to call on President Ruto that to situate, because we can see money is being spent on some other not all important things by government, be it calling people to state house, to state lodges, and giving them huge amounts of money, big contributions in churches. Well, actually, some things that are very important are cash-starved. Places like Kenyatta National Hospital, nobody doesn't know the challenges that we are going through there. I mean, this issue of late disbursement to counties is something that we really need, if we want to give services to our people, is something that we really need to look into. And to also ask him to be that person who does not, through proxy, isolate a particular region, and in this case, a region that voted for him overwhelmingly, just because maybe you have broken ranks with some leaders there. That every Kenyan has a right to development, and that no leader has to join or to rejoin government or support President Ruto for development, like Senator Morgan said, to go to their constituencies. Because when a road is built in Murang'a, you are not building it for Junior, you are building it for the people of Murang'a, and they have right to that. So I think it's important that all of us do what we were elected to do, and the president should lead by example.
Thank you. Senator Okongo Omogeni, Senior Counsel, and also the Senator of Nyamira, thank you for coming through. Really do appreciate. Beatrice Elachi, Member of Parliament, Dagoretti North, we really do appreciate you coming through. And thank you for, of course, crossing over to this side of this other side of the tracks, and also Senator John Newton. Thank you. What a trenchant discussion we've had. What a treat. I really do appreciate, enjoyed it. There are a raft of issues that we can discuss, but of course, time is not really on our side. But I want to thank you profoundly. Thank you also for your valued company. You've been watching the Insights here on TV47. Make sure, of course, you continue with the conversation on social media. May you have a restorative night, sleep serenely, and God bless you.